You ever wonder why the conversations your brain replays at 3 in the morning are always the ones that did not end well? Not the ones you won, not the ones that went smoothly, the ones with a thread still hanging. You lie in the dark, and your mind drags you back into them, line by line, as if the exchange is still happening. In the next 7 minutes, I am going to tell you exactly what your brain is doing, why it cannot stop, and the one quiet thing the latest neuroscience has discovered about how to make it finally let go. Stay with me, because the most disorienting part of this is not that your mind does it, it is when. Researchers have now mapped the precise time of night your brain is most likely to pull you back into a moment from your past, and what it is doing the second it does. Let us start with what you have actually felt. You are tired, the day is over, the lights are off, and then your mind, with no prompting at all, walks into a memory, a thing you said 3 years ago, a look someone gave you in a meeting, a sentence you wish you had answered differently, and locks the door behind it. You are not thinking about this. You are inside it, and the more you try to escape, the deeper it pulls you. This is one of the most universal experiences in adult human life, and until very recently, science had no clear name for what was happening inside your skull at that moment. Now it does. In 2025, researchers from CCE University of Medicine in Dublin published a systematic review in BJ Psych Open that pulled together every major neuroimaging study to date on a specific brain phenomenon called the default mode network. A research group in Japan publishing the same year in Translational Psychiatry tracked how this network behaves in real time. What these and dozens of related studies have made clear is this: the conversations you replay at 3 a.m. are not random. They are the activity of a specific, named, mapped neural circuit doing exactly what it was built to do. The default mode network is a set of brain regions that switches on the moment you stop paying attention to the outside world. The instant you stop reading, stop talking, stop driving, this network activates. Its job is to do the thinking your brain considers important when nothing else is demanding your attention. It reflects on yourself, it rehearses social moments, it revisits the past. Neuroscientists sometimes call it the brain's resting state, but this is misleading. Your brain is not resting. It has simply switched from looking outward to looking inward. And the looking inward, for almost every human being, has a strong negative bias. This is the part that matters. When the default mode network activates, it does not return to your mind a balanced highlight reel of your life. It returns disproportionately to moments of unresolved social information. The argument that did not end well. The thing you said and then immediately wished you hadn't. The moment of embarrassment that no one but you remembers. Your brain is treating these moments as open files, unfinished business, and it is dragging them back into your consciousness in an attempt, sometimes years after the fact, to close the loop. That is what the conversations are. They are not memory. They are not regret. They are your brain attempting again and again to finish something it never registered as finished now. Why 3 a.m.? Why the dark? Why specifically when you are trying to sleep? Two things converge to make late night the worst possible moment for this. The first is the absence of distraction. During the day, your brain is constantly pulled outward by tasks, by conversation, by the phone in your hand. All of that external input suppresses the default mode network. It cannot dominate while you are actively engaged with the world. But at night, in bed, in the dark, with no input, the suppression lifts. The default mode network finally gets the stage. The second is what is happening to your executive control, the part of your brain that normally regulates emotion and redirects unwanted thoughts. That is your prefrontal cortex. It is the most metabolically expensive region of the brain to run. By late at night, after a full day of decisions and conversations, it is exhausted. Its capacity to override the default mode network is at its lowest. So this is what is actually happening in the dark. Your default mode network is unleashed at the exact moment the brain region that would normally regulate it is depleted. There is, in a real biological sense, nothing standing between you and the memory. The guard has gone home, the door is open, and the network walks straight in with a list of every unresolved social moment of your life. This is why it feels like the memories are attacking you. They are not. They are arriving in a brain that, just for these hours, has lost its ability to filter them. And here is the part of the research almost no one talks about. The same network that drags you into these loops is also one of the most important systems your brain owns. It is the network of imagination, of empathy, of understanding yourself as a continuous person across time. People with damage to it lose the ability to plan their own future. This is not a malfunctioning system. This is the system that lets you have a self at all. The 3 a.m. conversation is the cost of a feature that every other minute of your life is what makes you human. To be honest about the science, not everyone gets pulled into the loops with the same intensity. The same network exists in everyone, but the strength of its pull varies. Researchers find that the people most prone to looping at night are often the people most attuned to other people's feelings during the day. Sensitivity to social information is the trait that makes you good at relationships. And also, on a quiet night, the thing that hands your brain a longer list of moments to revisit. That is not weakness. It is the same instrument tuned high. So what does the latest research suggest about how to actually make it stop? The honest answer is, you cannot delete the network, but you can change what it has to work with. When the default mode network revisits a memory and meets resolution, a clear ending, a feeling you have already acknowledged, it has less reason to return. The loops persist on what is open. They quiet on what has been named and put down. This is not thinking positively. It is the simpler and harder thing, letting a memory be finished, even if it was finished badly. The conversation from 3 years ago does not need to be relitigated. It needs to be closed, not won, not corrected, just closed by you in the present, with the knowledge that the moment is over and the version of you who lived inside it has already survived it. When your mind walks into the room again tonight, you do not have to argue with it. You do not have to fix what it brings. You only have to recognize what it is, a network of cells doing the most human thing they know how to do, returning to what was left undone. You can simply say, quietly, I see you. I know what this is. It is already done. The mind will keep walking in. That is what it was built to do. But each time you meet it without struggle, you teach the network slowly that there is nothing left to finish here. So I want to ask you sincerely, what is the conversation your mind keeps walking into? You do not have to name the person or the moment. You only have to know that someone reading the comments tonight is lying awake with one of their own, and that the simple act of saying "me too" into a comment thread is one of the only things that has ever quieted the room. Subscribe to Grit Harbor. Each week we make one of the invisible forces shaping human life visible, calmly, carefully, and grounded in real science. You are welcome here. Next week we step into something stranger still. What happens to the human brain when it tries and fails to forget? And remember, no one here has to weather the storm alone. Thank you for staying with us.